Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Archetype Learning Solutions channel, where we talk about all things employee engagement. We connect some dots to how employee engagement is related to leadership or lack thereof, bad management practices, human psychology, and a whole host of things. So if this is content that you find interesting, welcome in or welcome back, and I hope you'll join us for future conversations. Our strategy is very simple: engage everyone every day through quality daily interactions. So today I'm going to talk about a concept that I call role compression. And to understand this a bit, let's explore the concept, the HR concept of wage compression. So slightly different, but I think the concepts are very similar. So let me explain. In our organizations, we tend to have a group of employees who are tenured and experienced and maybe have been with us for a couple of years. Over the course of a couple of years, through whatever variety of inflationary incidents occur, perhaps it's an increase in productivity, a particular skill gap, or actual monetary inflation, fiscal inflation, but there are a variety of reasons why over the course of time, new employees coming into the organization may be earning more compensation. So now you have two groups of folks in your organization, or two groups of employees. Those existing employees that are making this much money and new employees that are making this much money. And wages do matter in satisfaction, not necessarily engagement, but satisfaction. And those are called a hygienic factor. And we'll talk about those in another video. As it relates to wage compression, now we're experiencing this, the dollars, the monetary gain of these employees compressed down to a lower level than what the new employees are making. And so that's why you oftentimes see organizations that will conduct a pay equity study, for example, to make sure that that wage compression is not occurring or it's minimized to a degree. So role compression is not that much different. Instead of compressing wages, however, we're compressing human capacity to work to the top of their ability, to bring their full self into the organization through their experience, their educated knowledge around particular items, and simply their capacity to want to be and do their best. And so that is called a motivator factor. Again, we'll talk about hygienic and motivator factors in a different segment. But this idea of wage compression is something I alluded to in a previous video. So did I say wage compression? I meant role compression. And role compression looks like this. So you have a manager who either comes into the organization or maybe is promoted within the team, and they're not entirely sure what to do. There hasn't been great development. Nobody's fully explained the role. The differences from moving to being an individual contributor to a manager. Work is very different. Oftentimes, as we see people move into these roles, now they're functioning at a different capacity. They have an increase in meetings oftentimes. They have a change in tasks that they need to be accomplishing. And there's even different business acumen that they're going to be exposed to over time. Their priorities change. In fact, they might even have an increase in priorities. Often what we see happen, or I've seen this multiple times myself in my role, is that those new managers get super stressed. They don't know what to be doing. And so fear often sets in. And so I've talked a lot in the past about the tired, stressed, frustrated, anxious brain does not do its best work in that particular state. So what do we do? Well, we revert back to the behavior and the skills, the knowledge and the abilities that made us great and individual contributors, the very thing that got us promoted into those positions. So here's where the role compression piece comes in. Once I begin functioning as an individual contributor again, I am now taking the work from my team members and I'm conducting the work, and I'm compressing the work that they're doing by not allowing them to bring their full self to the meetings, to bring their ideas, to bring their expertise, to be creative and innovative. And I'm compressing that work instead of wages, I'm compressing the people into a space that oftentimes carries meaningless tasks, such as instead of coming in and doing the work that you need to be doing to make the project better, now suddenly I'm having you schedule meetings for you. Or I'm having you schedule meetings for me. I'm having you do things that really are not contributing to the work because I'm taking the work for myself because that's what I know. So I hope that explanation makes sense. And this is really key to employee engagement. And this is where we shift away from the hygienic factors to the motivator factors. And those motivator factors are things like growth and development and being able to work to your fullest capability. When we get into a situation of role compression, we're not able to work to our fullest capability because someone is telling us they don't want us to, they can't, we're not being allowed to. Our knowledge and expertise are being oftentimes belittled by the person who is experiencing that stress. And that's a very valid and real stress response. And when we lose that ability to work to our fullest degree, we oftentimes experience disengagement. We are no longer experiencing or seeing high degrees of employee engagement through this process. So this is very connected to employee engagement. And if the employee engagement piece is not enough for you to say, oh, maybe I should be more curious about this, let me put it to you in a different perspective. So oftentimes our executive teams are very focused on the return on investment. So when you are experiencing or a team is experiencing role compression, you have a diminishing return on your investment because the wages that you're paying your team members to do certain tasks to the fullest of their abilities, X, Y, and Z, they're no longer doing those tasks, X, Y, and Z. They're now doing other tasks. And so you're basically paying a very high level individual contributor to bring their full set of skills and experience and expertise into a situation, and suddenly you're paying them to basically stand around and do nothing. And yes, I've seen that happen. So it's a very real experience. It's a very real thing that I have seen many, many times in my career of doing this work. So role compression, very similar to wage compression, but instead of compressing wages, we're actually compressing people's capacity to work to their fullest extent of their abilities. And it's diminishing the return on the investment of the dollar cost that you put into that employee, what you're paying them to do, but it's also compounding disengagement or poor employee engagement results within your organization. So one more reason to be very considerate and thinking about employee engagement. It impacts us in so many different ways. The other piece to that I'll just add very quickly, and I've talked about the daily dose, those are the brain chemicals of dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. When folks are working at that compressed capacity, and they're not doing tasks that are getting them the intellectual stimulation that's helping to create those happy brain chemicals as well. So we're running into kind of multiple variants here that are contributing to lack of engagement overall. So there it is, my explanation of role compression, how it contributes to employee engagement and actually creates a diminishing return on your employee investment. So if this content resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Please comment below, ask questions, share your insights, your experiences, and I'm always happy to engage in conversations with you. So my name is Danielle Lord. I realized I didn't mention that when we got started. So I'm the founder and principal of Archetype Learning Solutions, and we are very committed to helping you have happy, healthy employees within your organization through great employee engagement. So hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.